Hi, I'm Shruti Seth and you're watching me on Kidsstoppress.com.
Hi, you're watching Kidsstoppress.com with me, Mansi, and we have a lovely new mom here with us today. Hello, Shruti.
Thank you, Mansi, for having me here.
Shruti is, of course, like we see, is all back in shape.
I should thank my parents. Now that I'm a mother, I know how many times I have to thank my parents. Genetic blessings aside, I have to say that I was very careful during my pregnancy.
Okay.
I made sure that I ate healthy, that I exercised. I was on a nutritional program.
Okay.
So I did not allow myself the luxury of just going completely haywire.
Completely crazy, no midnight cravings.
No, nothing. And funnily enough, my nutritionist actually told me that there is no such thing called...
So
there's no such thing called a craving. It is just an excuse. It is just an excuse that has been perpetuated by previous moms who didn't know how to put a handle on their eating habits. So they said, oh, but it was a craving. And then everyone's kind of followed it on.
So you stuck to the 8 to 12 kilos that...
Yes, I was given an outer limit of gaining 11 kilos. And I capped it at 9 kilos.
Wow.
So, yes.
You make me really jealous. So, with my first one, I went crazy. I went all the way up to 22 kilos. I used to dread going to my gynac because I thought that even if I was breathing, I was kind of putting on weight. But no, the second one, I stuck to 11. I said, I think it's within us to kind of control those.
Absolutely. See, the thing is, you know what, like we just spoke outside, that experience is a great teacher. But having said that, I had seen friends of mine who made silly mistakes, took certain liberties. And of course, let's please not forget this great gift that women have been blessed with called hormones. God forbid, if they're not on your side during your pregnancy, then no matter how well you eat, no matter how much you exercise, if they decide to, I'm bringing the weight, then the weight is coming. So my hormones were very kind to me. But having said that, the one thing that a friend of mine had actually told me when she was pregnant, I remember she was sitting across the table and she was like, oh, I feel like eating one more idli. So I said, yeah, go ahead, now you're eating for 2. And her husband actually jumped in and said, she's not eating for 2.
Right.
She's not eating for a person her size.
Right. Correct.
So actually, all you're supposed to increase in your diet is supposed to be another 300 calories. That is it.
Right.
So that's
any
literally...
do's and don'ts from your diet that you would like to recommend?
Most women are prone to gestational diabetes during their pregnancy. I have a family history of diabetes. My sugar did shoot up a little, so I definitely had to shut down any sort of dessert cravings, so to speak. I anyway don't like sweets, which is again a blessing. But
what are you made of?
Yeah, you don't trust me. I don't like chocolate. My husband keeps saying that. I don't trust people who don't like chocolate.
She's not normal. She's not normal.
No, so what happened was that you have to be a little careful on sugar intake.
Right.
That is, I think, the most important. Other than that, what I think all mums should understand is that your eating habits are directly impacting your child.
Right.
If you gain, ridiculous amounts of weight, you're only putting yourself and your child at risk. You want to make sure that you're putting good food in there so that the baby gets good nutrition. That is pretty much it. And trust me, all of us know what is good and what is not good. It's up to you to figure it out, to realize that, of course, there are weak moments and you can treat yourself every now and then. But essentially, the food you put into yourself is the food you're putting into your baby.
So true.
Yeah.
It's often said that a new mom is like an advice magnet, right? So what's the best one that you got and what's the worst one that you got?
Wow, the best one. Oh, the best one, actually. It's adorable because my aunt, she's a gynecologist and she was actually my secondary doctor right through my pregnancy. So every time I'd see my gynecologist, I'd go back and send her my reports just to say, okay, Masi should tell me. The only thing she told me over and over again, right through the 9 months of my pregnancy was, Beta khush raho. Just be happy and see how it'll change your baby. And that's exactly what happened. My little Alina is a small little ball of sunshine. She's such a happy child, and I think it has a lot to do with my mental state during my pregnancy.
Think positive?
Only. Everything can be taken care of. Your mind, your state of being is entirely under your control, and it is the one thing that will impact your child the most.
And the worst one that you got?
The worst one, I think the worst one was this, you're not eating enough. You should be eating more. You're not gaining weight. I was like, just becoming fat doesn't mean becoming pregnant.
Right.
So that was the one thing, like every time I met someone, they were like, ye to kuch khai nahi rahi hai. She's not gaining any weight. What is that child going to get? What is the child going to get? What is the child? I said, the child is fine. Don't worry. Okay. My gynecologist is checking out the baby and she is fine. So, but it was the one thing, I think it, to a very large extent, it just bothers people that, dude, why haven't you gained weight?
I think a lot of women also must be a lot really envious, right? That why has she not put on weight, or how does she bounce back so soon?
So it's this thing that no, you must eat now. Now you're pregnant, now you should eat.
Right.
So I was like, okay, if you insist. So I'd like, meals in my mouth saying, are you happy now? Do you feel good that I've put on the weight you want me to eat? So that was the one thing that was told to me repeatedly.
What about bouncing back to work and feeling guilty leaving your babies behind?
Oh, the one thing that no one tells you, everyone tells you, oh, sleep, catch up on your sleep, and they can never emphasize it enough. The one thing no one tells you is the guilt. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It is the one thing that makes motherhood blow. Like, I was just like, this motherhood thing blows every time, the guilt. Yeah. Because, living in a city like Bombay, you realize how expensive life is. Having a baby is a very expensive proposition.
I'm glad somebody has said this.
It is.
Until now, I was the only one who used to feel that.
No, let me tell you what I did actually. Right through my pregnancy, I wanted to keep asking somebody that, okay, so how much money should I put aside? How much money will I need for this? How much money will I need? And everyone was like, I don't know, maybe they just never had a figure.
Yeah.
So I, as I may sound extremely frugal and, money-minded and all of that, but I said, I will make sure that I pen down every tiny little cost that goes into my pregnancy, so that tomorrow if a friend of mine asks me, I shall have a figure to give her.
Right.
Because one needs to know what expense is coming your way. So I actually wrote down every scan, every blood test, every little thing that I spent.
I'm really keen on getting my hands on that recipe and I have to share it with everybody. I'm sure a lot of moms will benefit, right?
No, because so many times you tend to get fooled by a hospital. You get fooled by certain doctors who don't have your best interest at heart, and all they're looking for is to scare you and try and extract money out of you, which is awful, but it's a harsh reality which exists. So one needs to know that, okay, these things are important, so you want to make provisions for those, but those things are not important, so don't worry about them.
Right.
So I actually have my entire pregnancy expense jotted down.
Wow. So we're going to share that with you very soon.
I hope I can. So coming back to, life's expense and the fact that all of us, we want to make our kids so entitled. We want to give them everything. We should never have to say no to them. Whatever she asks, let us be able to provide for her, which I think is bad parenting, because I think kids should earn what they want. They should be explained the importance of things, the expensive things. They should understand that, which kids don't these days, but it's our fault. The parents have to be blamed. So obviously one has to go back to work, because you realize that you can't put the entire burden on one person in a household.
Right.
But every time I pick up my bag and Alina looks at me, she thinks I'm taking her out, and then I leave without her, and it breaks my heart. And I was like, damn it. So I don't earn, I feel guilty. If I go to earn, I feel guilty.
But let me tell you, because I am maybe 6 years more experienced than you are. So I went back to full-time work when my baby was 2.5.
Wow.
And it was...
I'm such a bad mother. Alina is only 7 months.
We should better, right?
I'm such a bad mother.
2.5 months, right? And that time was like a really bad recession time, 2008. And everybody was going back to work. People were getting laid off. So whatever you had, just hold on to your job. But it was crazy. But you know what I realized in these last 6 years? That you need to be a happy mom.
Yeah. To have a happy baby.
You need to be a happy person to be a happy mom, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way the equation works. And I think it's very important for them to also understand that, she has
another life. Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, that can go completely.
No. Let me tell you, many years ago, I was, motherhood just makes you realize how many times you've said horrid things to your own parents, and you can just never apologize enough for it. I remember many years ago, me telling my mum, and I swear to God, I will say this again, I meant it in the most innocuous manner. I did not mean to say anything. I just turned around and told my mother that, Mama, why did you give up your career for us? And my mother just looked at me and she said, as in, she took it the wrong way. But what I wanted to tell her is that look at us, we're such selfish brats.
Yeah.
We are out the whole day. We want to hang out with friends. We're like, oh God, our mother's going to call and ask us when we're going to come home again. I said, your entire life is about me and my brother. Why did you give up your job, your career for us? And she said, because I never wanted you to come home to an empty house. I never wanted you to come home and wonder where my mother is. So I said, to hell with my job. I've had my chance. I did what I needed to do. But now I need to be here as a mother. And of course, now when I think back, I was like, that was such a horrible thing to say. But the point is that as a child, it struck me. I wanted my mother to have a life of her own. I did not want her to invest every little minute of her day in me. You know, so...
But do you have demarcated time for your daughter? Okay, this is your time and now this is my time. Or you
not
try and
really.
squeeze your way around through her day?
Not really. She's actually, you know, she's a very no-fuss baby. Thank God for that. She's fairly chilled. She's happy on her own. She likes human interaction a lot more than she likes things. I hope it stays like that. But if I leave her in her play gym, or I give her her favorite toy, or just a plastic bag, or, you know, just like a silly pen or whatever, the most retarded thing will amuse her. She kind of lets me be. Yeah, and also she sleeps well, so I know that, okay, these hours of the day she will be in her bed, she'll be peaceful, so I can do what I need to do at that time.
And what is the one thing that you miss besides sleep? That you feel like...
The guilt. I don't want the guilt.
But you feel like you miss friends and parlor appointments, late nights.
No, it's just the guilt. I just don't want to feel guilty. I don't want to have to think twice before doing anything, because now every little decision is always governed by, okay, what am I going to do about Alina? How is Alina going to manage? And trust me, I have a fantastic support system because my mom lives really close to where I live. In fact, I'm moving closer to her. But yet, just even leaving her with my mother, my mom she's shut down her social life. She's like, I'm just happy hanging out with Alina. So she has no problems at all. But yet, just the fact every time I get a job outside the city, to be able to go and spend a night outside, thinking of, okay, should we take a weekend off? Should we go for a holiday with our friends? Our friends are making plans. Can we go with them? Just the guilt. I just want someone to take that away. If that would go, I swear I'd be amazing as a mother.
Wow.
But I believe it never does. So you just have to make your peace with it.
Okay. And any parting note for all the moms, all the new moms out there?
Well, like you said, that you will only be a happy mom if you're a happy person. So just be happy. The only thing I will tell you, you know, all of us are flawed. All of us have our shortcomings. And somewhere along our lives, we tend to become very obstinate and rigid about change. And we're like, no, this is how I am. Deal with it. But try and be better for your kids. You know, set a good example for them, because honestly, everything else aside, you will always be the person who will come to the other person's mind when your child makes one slip up, and you will be the person that will come to every person's mind when your child does something great.
That is so true.
Because everyone will always say, oh, great upbringing, or terrible upbringing. So you will always carry the burden of your child's joys, you know, their sadness, their greatness, their failures. So just try and be better for your babies.
And, you know, in today's times, it's, I don't think parenting is just the mother's role. Right?
No, not at all.
How does your husband contribute to parenting as a whole? Does he do all the read-ups, and does he do a lot of
Well, physical time, I think, you know, sadly, he really can't give, because he's a director. He's pretty much working 12 hours of a day, and I've been in front of the camera. I know how exhausting it can get. So sadly, physical time, he can't contribute as much as me. And but in terms of participating, when Alina was born, for the first 2 months, both of us moved into my parents' house. He was fully hands-on. So whether it was staying awake to feed her, whether it was changing her diapers, whether it was helping me give her bath, whatever it was, whatever I did, he did. So we did it in full partnership. And obviously, after 2 months, one of us had to decide that, okay, so who's going to bring in the bread and butter? And he obviously chose the task, because I said that, you know, I would like to be around for her more than you need to. So,
and you also have the flexibility, right?
True. My job is a lot. Yes.
You're just blessed also. I think all of us are that we can choose and pick the days we
want to work, and we don't want to work.
We have somebody
That's true. So, and, you know, whatever said and done, nature plays a big part here.
Sure.
There are instincts that have sort of been fed into women. It's biologically designed.
Right.
What comes to me instinctively, Danish needs to read up on it.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right.
So in waiting for him to read up and figure out, it's just faster for me to do it because I have the instinct.
Yeah.
So, but touch wood, he's been a great partner. He's been a great father, and he's doing what he needs to do, and I'm doing what I need to do. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shruti.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.